Hello, my name is Curmesh. Today I'm going to present to you vʟļĥεæ, a perfect Auxlang, literally world language. This language was created in order to appear in the second Conlang Circus conducted by the famous Conlang YouTuber Acknowledgements. The problem that occurs to most people with the most famous Auxlangs, such as Esperanto, Ido, or Interlingua, is that the languages are inherently biased. Many words are borrowed from a few language families, especially those found in Europe. Some of the most important words are always unequal to the vast majority of the population. But with the current methods, it is impossible to be equal with everyone. My new method, relying on mathematical calculations, eliminates all discrimination and bias by compounding words from all languages into one object. Another point that some people make about the Auxlangs is that people often lose their identity, losing their native concepts that they are used to. The way that I'm creating the language creates the ideal environment where every subtle meaning can be represented by a word, up to the point that there's no natural language that makes all those distinctions. I must admit that this is not the ideal version of this conlang. Unfortunately, because of lack of data and resources, it's practically impossible for me to use every single existing tongue. So I was forced to use only a small portion of the world's languages. Also, I do not speak every language that I use in this conlang, so inaccuracies in the words might be present, up to the point that it's an entirely different language. Finally, at some points there might be some inaccurate pronunciations. I try to be as close as possible to the original, but sometimes I might fail. As I said, it was impossible for me to create a language that is comprised of all languages on planet Earth, so I decided to focus only on 50. The languages that I used are primarily based on the population, but also there are some languages that are representing an area or a certain culture. You can see the complete list of languages on the screen right now. In order to calculate any word in the language, I just had to first find the word in every selected language. Then I needed to transcribe every word in terms of IPA. And then the magic happens. I transform every word into a list of vectors, then average them out. After that, I multiply every sound that is represented by a vector by a matrix that transforms the phoneme space to an evenly distributed one. Finally, I find the closest phoneme to each vector. The final list of phonemes will be the resulting word. Because of the fact that some languages lack certain sounds, it shall be fair to include more sounds to have a more balanced pronunciation. So the phonology of the language is b, p, d, t, d, t, d, t, d, t, g, g, b, b, g, g, a, m, 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 n, 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 ñ, 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 ng, 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 ng. Brr, brr, r, 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 v, f, v, f, v, th, z, s, ž, š, ž, š, ž, š, j, š, ž, š, r, h, r, h, l, h, 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 w, f, v, f, l, r, š, l, r, l, j, r, r, r. I, U, E, 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 A, 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 E, 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 A, E, 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 A, A. And no, I did not die. The grammar of the language allows absolute freedom in order to not discriminate and not propagate any worldview. But determiners are highly encouraged, although they are not forced. Any phrase can be translated at once, so technically the B-movie text can be translated with just one word.
Le fameux
And again, I did not die, although it was close. But this word is hard to understand, and I'll make a more accurate translation in the end. There's also a ton of synonyms for every single word, every inflectional form, and all the synonyms are allowed to go through the generation phase, although the definitions might change depending on context. So, bʟļĥεæ, vʟḻĥεæ, uslâjë, marvel, derë, erëj, derjë, uslâjë, all mean good, but they are completely different as you can see. Because of the inherent non-neutrality of the decimal number system, this language uses quater-imaginary base, meaning base to I. For uninitiated, to I is equal to square root of -4. This system is also more useful in math and physics, as there's no need for negative or complex numbers, in the way they are written and pronounced in the decimal right now. The way the system is organized is also quite elegant. 0 is schwa, and the following numbers are derived from spiraling out of the vowel space in the clockwise direction, from unrounded to rounded vowels. When the vowels end, consonants are added from the main plane, meaning no nasals, no laterals, no doubly articulated consonants, from the glottis to lips. Stops to approximants. You can see the graphic here. The numbers are also used in determiners, where they represent how close to the speaker the object is, and it is highly recommended to use them in order to resolve the ambiguities that might appear. They can mean the distance to the object in the real world or just in one's mind. The object's position can be calculated by using the west as the positive real axis and the south as the positive imaginary axis. The numbers are also used in comparisons, with the real axis representing how much difference exists there, and the imaginary axis representing the personal opinions of the author, or an additional parameter if specified. Alas, everything must end, and I'm presenting to you my translation of the example sentence we had to submit for the circus. So this was vʟḻĥεæl. This was a really hard task to implement this language. Even though the main reason for creating it was for me to have fun, I hope you've enjoyed it. Here we can find resources that I've used to make the language, some links related to me or the language, and thanks to some people. I've put the links in the description below as well. Have a nice day. Phonology.